Be looking at chapter 1, section 4, properties of exponents. Practice problems in your student workbook on page 21. Let's get started. All right, so I'm starting with number 9 here. And the instruction here is just to simplify the expression, write your answer using only positive exponents. Starting with number 1, if you can recognize the exponential property being used, a lot of these problems are pretty easy, or should be easier. So starting with number 9, z to the exponent 0, we know by the 0 exponent property that anything raised to the 0 power is just 1. So we're done with that. Next one, we have a negative exponent, and the negative exponent property tells us to rewrite this as a fraction with a positive exponent. So that's done. This is done as well. Moving on to the next one, there's a couple of things going on here. We have the 0 property, and we also have the negative exponent property. So we can actually start with this. This is just 1 we know, so it kind of cancels out. We're left with the negative exponent, which we understand that it's just going to go to the bottom and become positive. So this simplifies to 6. 6 is positive, it stays at the top. B to the second power. Nothing else we can do here since we're simplifying and we have positive exponents. We're good to move on. Over here, we have similar situation. There's a negative exponent and there's a 0 exponent, but this negative is only affecting m and not 14. We have to make sure that we understand that. This just simplifies to 1. It can cancel out. So overall here, we're going to have 14 m to the 4th power at the bottom as a positive exponent. Okay. Moving on, I may skip a few here if I see that they're similar to the ones that we looked at. Number 13, we have 2 negative exponents at the bottom and the 0 exponent at the bottom. Therefore, what's going to happen here is we know that this is just 1, and it's really not going to do much to affect anything, but we can rewrite this so that both of these become denominators with positive exponents. At which point we're going to end up with 1 over 3 to the second power and r to the third power. And we're pretty much done since all we need to do is just simplify. However, whenever you're asked to evaluate, at that point we'll probably need to find the actual value of 3 to the second power. So if they're asking us to evaluate, we could rewrite this and say, well, 3 to the second power is 9. So your final answer is 9r to the third power. And that's the difference between simplifying and evaluating. Okay. Moving on to the next one, we have, looks like a lot going on, but it really isn't. So if you just start with what you know and what's obvious, it's always good to start with a 0. We know that just cancels to a 1. I do have a few negative exponents at the bottom. They're just going to go at the top and become positive. I also have a negative exponent at the top. It's going to go at the bottom and become positive. So all I'm going to have left here with the top that's going to stay positive is 2 to the third power times 8 to the negative 1 is going to be at the top, and now it's the first power. And then b is also going to come up top with a positive 5 as an exponent. And then at the bottom, I'm going to take a to the third power. Okay. So that's done. I know this 8 doesn't look good, but we need to pay attention to 2 to the third power and 8. It kind of looks ugly to leave them like that, so we can evaluate them. We know that 8 to the third power is 2 to the third power is 8 times 8 will give you 64. So the final answer could be written as 64b to the 5th power over 3. Okay, nice and neat over there. Last one here, we have the quotient of powers. When that's the case and the bases are the same, we just take one base and subtract the exponents. In this case, we end up with 3 to the second power. Okay, so these are some of the problems that you have to work on. This is pretty much similar to that. This you have the product of powers. When the bases are the same, you